Well, here we are on an inordinately beautiful day in Denver. Look at the snow on the ground. And that was last week.
That was last week,
And
it's almost
today,
gone.
my son Jamie is out here in shirt tail. So this is my son Jamie and his precious wife, Taylor.
Hello.
And we are here in Denver in what we pretty sure is Zone 6. I don't know if you're 6A or 6B. I don't know. We can look that up. But what we're going to do is a traditional kind of consultation that I used to do with people all of the time when I was doing more consulting kind of as a business. And we're going to run through a list of questions that I like to ask homeowners as they are either starting a new landscape, or in your guys' case, you are modifying an existing landscape. So when they first got here, I mean, it's still, I mean, it looks presentable. Now, granted, it's winter, but you know, it looked fine. So that you had the luxury of prioritizing stuff on the inside, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. But now, how long have you been here?
A little over a year and a half.
Yeah,
now.
like a year and a half.
Yeah, but they already had like a good landscaping base when we moved
Yeah.
in. I feel like over the past year, I've just been like learning what's in our yard.
Okay.
And how to maintain what
Yeah.
was already here.
Yeah, and I think those are the two issues, and those are two questions that I would always ask people. So number one, I know that, I know Jamie, he's very fastidious. He really likes things to be very orderly. And you like to do some outdoor work, but not a lot.
I would say that's accurate.
Okay, so that's the question that you ask yourself. Do I really want to engage in the garden a lot, or do I want it to look good all of the time as a kind of a backdrop to your lifestyle? And what is your lifestyle?
We like to host.
Yes, they like to entertain a lot.
Yes.
Okay, and what's another consideration about your lifestyle? You have a
Doggy.
doggy, and I was hoping
I was
Goose would be
too.
looking
Oh,
out.
wow.
Would be looking out the door. We'll get a shot
She's
of
probably
Goose
with-
later. But you guys already know Goose. So they have Goose. So they have a dog. So that's another consideration. They want to be careful about what plants they put in their yard, whether or not they're poisonous. They also want to create enough play area
Yep.
for her. So those are some of the things we're going to kind of address. And then it's things like you said, what aesthetically, what do you like and what don't you like? And so I think probably the biggest clue to that is the kind of house you bought. Okay, so let's stand out of the way.
Okay.
And you guys describe to me how you would describe your house, when it was built, and why you like it.
Okay, well, do you want to go
I'll
first?
do it.
Yeah.
So I grew up in a brick Tudor home in Oklahoma City, and I kind of wanted something like that for myself. So the Denver housing market is challenging. So we were looking for a little over a year to find the right place, but we found a red brick Tudor home that was built in about 1930. So it's kind of exactly what we were looking for, and we're just in the process of sprucing it up to how we want it to be.
Yeah, and and it's interesting to me that you revert back to kind of you go through some aesthetic evolution, I think, when you're young, and then ultimately when you get ready to make a purchase that's a big purchase, especially in Denver, that you really have to ask yourself, what do I like? And it's not just, the other consideration to take into account when you're talking about landscaping is not just your house, but is there good garden fit in your neighborhood? And so one thing that you guys did instinctively that I always recommend that new homeowners do, and that's what? You have really kind of, come on now, work with me here. Okay. It's because they did it naturally. But I know, they're going, okay, give us a little hint. Give us a little hint. Okay, no, you walked around and you saw what you liked and what you didn't like.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. I think one of the things that I know that you were talking about earlier is everything looks dead in our yard. Most of the things are perennials, but when you look around at some of our neighbors' houses, they have a lot of greenery, right? A lot of evergreen. And so I think that's something that is missing here.
Okay, and the other thing is, so like Jamie, was it this house?
Yeah.
I like how this house on the corner, they don't have quite as much landscaping variety as we do, but it looks really neat and still green here in the dead winter months, and that's something that I kind of want to integrate into our garden.
The other thing that I make as an observation when I look at, for example, one of the houses on your street that has lots of evergreens versus your house is those houses look grounded in front. They look like they have visual weight. When it snows, I bet it was absolutely beautiful with the snow on all of those evergreens. Okay. Your house is beautiful, and the positive to that is you can really see the house. It's not obscured by any overgrown evergreens. The downside is that it does. It has all of this leafy, dead, twiggy stuff on it, and the problem is you really can't, you're hesitant to cut much of it down because it's helping to insulate the plant so they'll be protected from the extreme cold and they'll come back next year. So what I think you're telling me is that you would like more evergreens and rethink maybe some of the twigginess of the deciduous stuff.
Completely agree. Yep.
Okay. And the other thing that Jamie, you said is you feel like you have too many weeds and your neighbors don't have as many weeds.
That's right.
Okay. So one way that we're going to maybe try to kind of address that is through living mulch and incorporate some of those things. So instinctively, when I started thinking about this, I think, oh, what are my go-to evergreens? Well, my go-to evergreens are hollies and arborvitaes and certain cedars and things like that. But I ain't in Oklahoma anymore. I am in Colorado. So I started doing what I've encouraged them to do, and that is really look around and see what is growing here. And since I've been here on this Denver trip, I've thought, okay, now I'm going to really pay attention, and I don't think I've seen one holly.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I just kind of researched that, and it's because it's so dry and the winds are desiccating in the wintertime. I think probably your soil tends to be alkaline, or tends to be alkaline versus acidic. And typically things like hollies and such, they want a lower pH. So one thing, Jamie, I'm going to put on your list to do is have your soil checked. So you can get a soil kit online, you can do it yourself, you can contact the Colorado Extension Center and you can have them do it. But first, let's see what we're working with.
And we can do that now?
Yeah,
even,
you can go ahead.
Yeah,
you can go ahead and do that now. And it will give you instructions on how to do it. You will take samples from various different parts of your yard. You may want to do one for the backyard and one for the front yard, or you may just assume they're both the same. You do it the way you want to do it, but it will give you instructions. And then we're going to plant and prep the soil accordingly. You've got a pretty good stand of, do you know what kind of grass you have?
I don't. I think it's a mixed variety.
Okay, but I think it's some kind of fescue or something. All I can tell is that it does not appear to be a creeping grass.
Yeah, it does not creep.
Okay, so that is going to inform some of what we want to do. Okay, so Jamie, you and I did a little exercise here a little while ago, and tell me what we did and what we noticed when we walked from that corner and looked back to your house.
Yeah, we noticed that kind of the first thing that catches your eye when you're coming from the side of the house is the downspout from the gutters. So possibly doing some evergreen or something to
kind of cover up
ground it a little bit, add that visual weight she was talking about.
The other thing, is we have some just like empty spaces, I feel like, that could be filled in with some type of evergreen.
Okay, so
like that corner right there.
Okay, so let's do this. I want you to instinctively tell me, when you look at your house, where you think you think instinctively it might need some visual weight, and where you think you've got empty pockets.
Okay. Jay, do you want to?
Yeah, I think possibly having a backdrop of some evergreens between these hydrangeas would be nice because it'll add pops of color in the springtime against that green backdrop. And then possibly having something to
kind of cover
up this blank area where the downspout is. So anything for you too?
Yeah, I mean, you can see just that corner. It's just, there's a lot of room over there and it's empty. So I feel like it would be nice to have some sort of just tall evergreen there as well.
And you guys, and I know from experience, you use this table a lot.
Yes. We're always sitting out on the
it's a very, like
social
mine,
patio.
It's a very convivial neighborhood. Lots of people, walk back and forth, and it's really, it's a lovely thing. Okay, the other thing is, Taylor, your lifestyle. Talk to me about you entertain. Do you like to bring greenery in? Do you, I don't want to put words in your mouth,
Yeah.
so, but
I really like the perennials, right? That just come back every single year.
okay.
I do feel like it is kind of a handful on like cutting back. I feel like I'm always calling you and like FaceTiming you and being like, should I cut this all the way back? What should I do? There are a lot of weeds that just the big tall green grass, you know,
Okay.
that just come through here, and it's really hard to maintain. Like he's doing that over there, kind of picking that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's called monkey grass or what that type of grass is, but it just kind of overwhelms some of these plants.
Okay.
The other thing is though, we really do enjoy planting our summer pots.
And
right?
you have great, I will say this, you both do great.
Yes. So
at
I
your summer
love doing
pots.
that. So it would be really nice to incorporate, right, those summer pots with annuals that we can, plant every year.
So you are more of you want punches of color in pots versus a lot of stuff you have to maintain.
That's right.
Okay. Let's take a break here, and when we come back, let's talk about places that seem to have obvious omissions and some things that we might do to fill them. Okay, Taylor, I know this whole area of the yard bugs Jamie, so tell me what bothers him.
Yeah, it just feels like it's just a little bit overgrown with all different types of plants, right? We have a ton of irises that grow, and while they are pretty for like a little while, I just feel like it is just taken over. I did do something that you actually taught me, which I am trying to see if it will actually kind of grow, is I transferred some of these plants from the backyard.
Some of the Artemisia, okay.
Just because this is all blank, so I just wanted to see how that would do, and it's been doing pretty
Okay.
well. So I want to do kind of more of that to kind of just take over the front area of this bed.
So if you do that, and if maybe we can, and that's a good money saving thing, is spreading around what you already have, so you're not buying new plants. I can definitely tell this in here needs some grooming.
Yep.
To give it a tailored look, which I know Jamie would really like. See, there's, Stuart, can you see here how there's brick under here? Yeah, there's brick under here, but it's all been obscured by some of this grass that it looks to me like when it was overseeded, some of the seed got inside the flower beds and it needs to be taken out. Obviously there was a tree here that died, and actually it probably looked very nice here, and something happened to it. I don't know if it was appropriate to this spot, but it would have grounded this spot. So there's another tree here now. You guys did do good due diligence. You had somebody come and look at your
All of our
trees
trees,
and stuff
that's right.
when you moved in. Jamie told me that these drive him crazy.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so these need to be out of there. If they
Yep.
drive him crazy and they look, and I know the stuff in the back, Stuart.
making sure I put it right there,
Yeah,
too.
the iris. That drives him crazy, and they probably spread or were intentionally spread from the back.
They do.
Okay,
Yep.
so they may have done the same thing, whereas they took from Peter to pay Paul, but they maybe have paid back in not a very good location.
Yeah.
So we can remove those, we can plant them someplace else. We can consider evergreens in this corner to give this visual weight, come off maybe the side of your house, which then would also hide this downspout.
Yeah.
You have another tree here. Do you know what this tree is?
I don't.
Okay, so one challenge that I'm going to have them do, I gave them a garden journal. So what we're going to do is we're going to learn what all of their
Everything
plants
is.
are, and then decide whether they want to keep them or they want them out of here. Obviously, the larger ones will do well here because they're thriving. So it may be they just need to be, we need to boss them around a little bit. They need to be pruned back some. Some of this stuff looks overgrown. I think it would be helpful to have some more evergreens kind of sprinkled in here. Okay, let's just take a moment
Oh, finally.
There's Goose.
and say, Goose is sleepy.
She is very sleepy.
is
There's a
very
lot of commotion
sleepy.
going on this weekend in the house.
Gooser.
And she's very sleepy.
Softest dog in the...
She is so sleepy.
So do you recommend if we do integrate some more evergreen, like say we have some, evergreen bushes here, does it need to be more symmetrical with that and the same type of evergreen?
I
or
would
do you
say
think
it probably, again, and when I say this, I always preface it by saying if it were me.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of this is just subjective. It's what you like and what you don't like. But we know from looking at other landscapes what seems to work. And Jamie, he inherited this from me. He loves boxwood.
Yes, he does love boxwood. Yeah.
Okay.
Grew up with a protege.
Yeah. So it seems a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And particularly since I don't know how broad spectrum, you know, our options are. You were going to say something.
No, I was going to say, I mean, that was Jamie's idea. We did that last summer.
That was all
Jamie's idea, was putting those boxwoods in, and we really liked them. But I think that, you know, you had mentioned that they might need to be just a little bit taller or a little bit bigger.
So, and you know, here's a trick. Sometimes if you can't afford a larger plant, you can put a smaller plant in, and let's assume these were bigger, rounder pots. You could put a smaller plant in, and then you could plant stuff along the side.
To kind of
over time, these would grow, and then you could make the decision to underplant them or not. So that's something. Would you want to continue that gray ground cover over on this side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you want a little symmetry.
Yeah.
Okay. So we can do that. Then maybe we could put in some boxwood here on that side, and then where I thought we would do hollies, probably some kind of junipers. And there's a whole spectrum of junipers from which we could pick, but they're columnar junipers, and I think they would do what you want them to do. Plus, I think it would be nice to be up here, and even though it would be more of a psychological thing, it would be nice to feel as if you had
a little bit more enclosure and kind of like a shadow almost.
Yeah, and a little just more intimate, where you just feel like you're not quite so exposed to the outside. Okay, so on our list is, as soon as these start coming out, Taylor knows how to use her Google Eye or whatever to identify what the plants are. So she's going to identify the plants. She's drawn out a little sketch that she has in her garden journal. She's going to identify them. We're going to learn how to take care of them. And then this spring I'll come back and we will prune them back. We will add some evergreens, I think. And we will come up with a kind of a maintenance list of what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. And then also, because one thing they have already nailed, actually you nailed it. Okay, Taylor, you just asked me a great question, and it would be a really good topic just for a video all by itself. And we were talking about your containers, so express to our followers what you just asked me about.
So I was asking Linda just like how we should go about like presenting color, right? Could it be the pops of color with the actual pots themselves, or let the plants be the colorful, you know, eye focus point? So that's why I wanted to get your feedback. Do you think?
The other consideration is when you have a pot, do you have a pot like this and it may be a neutral color?
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure this was beautiful in season.
Right, yeah, because this is that stone look, and we had just beautiful color peonies kind of spilling out of it.
But now it just all looks dead.
Yeah.
Okay. So, again, this is the way I think about it, but you do you, whatever. So, what I like is both what I love. I just love having just some kind of simple planting like this, because this looks great now.
Yeah.
Even though these have bronzed a little bit, these look great
look good,
here. You don't have to do anything to them.
Right.
They look great. And you don't have to add color to them around the base for them to look great.
Right.
So up here, you were telling me this is isn't this one of the places you said you
want
thought,
something
not me,
there.
you thought
it
looked
just seems
empty.
Yeah, it looks empty. It would be great to have something there.
Okay. So for me, if it were me, I would get a really large, and it wouldn't have to be rectangular or square. I would just look what I could afford.
But same color?
I would do the same color because it just makes it look, to me, it makes it look more harmonious and more cohesive. Now, you could do something like a concrete, but basically understated. If it were me, I wouldn't do like a bright color.
Okay.
So, but you have, when I say a big pot, I mean,
Like
a big pot that's almost like a small garden. Stuart's nodding his head.
I was thinking like Roger size pot.
Yeah,
That's what I was thinking.
like
Yeah.
a Roger-sized pot. So then you could put a tall columnar evergreen in here, Spartan juniper or Blue Point juniper or something
That'd
like
be really
that.
cute at Christmas time.
Be very cute at Christmas time. You can have this lit,
All the
have this lit.
lights.
Yeah. Okay. Then do what you guys do best. You love your color. You do it great. It does great in Colorado.
And still have the
Just make sure you have enough of a planting hole so that you can have it spill out all over the edge. And then for me, whatever I put in here, whether it was singular in color or a mix, I would then repeat in a pot
here.
like this.
So it all kind of matches and it's cohesive and
Yes.
no matter what colors we pick.
No, whatever colors.
Okay.
Let's say you pick 3 or 4 colors in here. Okay, that's okay. 3 or 4 colors. Don't pick another 3 or 4 colors down here though, and don't pick 3 or 4 color more plants.
Right, okay.
Make them all match and make them all want the same type of cultural environment
Okay.
and the same kind of growing conditions and things. And know that you're probably not going to have to water them as much as I would in Oklahoma, but this is a maintenance issue.
Yeah.
So if it becomes more of a maintenance issue, then you can let them grow beautifully while they're easy, and when it's not easy anymore and you don't want to water anymore and it's really hot, you're going to travel or whatever, then just pull them out and just have the evergreens in place.
Yeah.
And then when you're ready to pull those out, then you just mulch it in pumpkins.
Yeah.
And when those are done, you get rid of those and you mulch it in big acorns and berries and stuff.
Okay.
And it's just an easy formula. Stuart's smiling because he's heard me say this
Yeah.
1,000 times.
I saw Goose that
Well,
time. I'm
you-
sorry.
Oh, you saw Goose that
made me
time?
smile
Also,
that time.
Jamie loves his chores, and part of his chore list is going around the house, inside and out, and watering all the plants.
Okay, so he likes
He
that.
likes that.
Okay, so that's a good thing. But will Jamie do deadheading?
No, that's my job.
Okay, so but you are the designated
Yes.
deadheader.
That's
okay.
right.
So we're going to go over a whole deadheading tutorial when I come back.
Okay.
We're going to look at these things. We're going to talk about feeding and fertilization. We're going to talk about lawn care maintenance. Now you asked me one more question before we go to the
This is a little off
back.
topic than what we were talking about, but it did come to my mind. So, when we moved in, we obviously inherited these 2 trees. We inherited this, base of this tree.
Mm-hmm.
Jamie and I did a lot of cleaning up of it. It had a lot of weeds and kind of redid the outside parameter. But I mean, what are your thoughts? That one doesn't even have one. That one has that brick. I mean, how can we make it look
better.
just better, more cohesive?
Okay,
or...
to me, I don't think that brick is even necessary.
Okay.
And if you're going to have it, you need to have it in both places. So and I say this because I know you like symmetry.
Yeah.
So I would remove that and I would just do 2 beautiful tree wells around them. And actually the tree wells have happened kind of naturally.
Yeah.
You don't really even have to do anything because grass doesn't want to grow under there. You feed the grass.
Do I
let
even
it grow.
mulch?
You could mulch,
Okay.
but I wouldn't put too much mulch on there. Let's discuss that in the spring based on how much grass comes out. It does look like that grass down there needs to be fertilized. Whether or not, okay, was that your question about down there? Okay.
Yep.
One other thing that I would think would be good, okay, Stuart, you and Taylor, give me your thoughts on this. I think that to me, if you have time to play, if you're more homebound, and the other consideration is you're working from home a lot.
Yes.
So this is important to you. When I work from home, I like to come out and piddle with my plants and things. I think I would have 2 more big pots here.
Okay.
Or bring down these pots here and put 2 bigger pots up there and with more color. And then I think it would look nice because this is asymmetrical. So you've got visual weight on this side, but you have no visual weight on this side. So I would look into a pot right here, a pretty big, and it wouldn't even have to sit here. It could sit in here
A
on
big one?
Yeah, a big one right here. And then you could even, a pretty easy fix for an irrigation guy would be to put a drip line from that into the pot right here.
Okay.
Then you'd have color here, which would draw people up.
Yep.
And it's also an unusual touch, and it looks very intentional and like it's good but not overthought design.
Right. I like it.
Okay, so let's stop here.
Should we go to the backyard?
Let's go to the backyard. Let's get a couple of stills though, Stuart, so we have a dedicated before And also, let's everybody just take a moment to appreciate how cute the house is. The Oklahoma City Thunder flag hanging out front, and also how great the shutters look now that they're not red anymore, now that they're black.
Now we're talking. So we're in a more relaxed backyard. As you can see, Isa's back here with us. This is her territory. It's fenced in. This is where they have done, plan to do, will do, we might even do tonight a little bit, and that's entertain in the backyard. So you guys have kind of a vision of what you want the backyard to do for you. Okay. And what things you like and you don't want.
Yeah.
So I am just going to shut up. I know.
I'm going to give him a look while you're talking.
I will find that hard to believe, but I want you guys to describe what we have discussed and what you think would be some of, I don't know, some of the remedies, some of the improvements, some of the things the vibe you want to create back here. And by the way, cheers. It is no longer dry January. I'm on vacation. So good. I'm on vacation for the weekend, and it's Mara's back to reality. So, anyhow, describe. Why don't we start? We're gonna start over here. Okay, Taylor, you take it from here, Tyler.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay, so this area is just full of stone, and cobble, and whatever. So what we were thinking is kind of closing this off and kind of fencing this off, right? So we can just put whatever we want back here, and you won't really see it.
In the spring, I feel like I'm just in a battle with weeds constantly, and there's some weed tarp or whatever you call it under here, but it must have failed over time. So I'd like to do some smaller gravel and just have it be a clean, tidy walkway, but I don't know, I'm open to suggestions.
But it would make this look more enclosed and more finished, and it would hide, if you can't remedy what's bothering you, hide what's bothering you.
Yeah.
And that at the same time, Jane, you could just come back in here with one of those, actually, you probably enjoy this, one of those torch weeders, where you just torch the weeds periodically.
There you go.
And then if you
I like this idea.
I like playing with fire, yeah.
Jelly, you're in a pyromania. And you could do it all at once, or you could do it bit by bit. And that is just, have a truckload of gravel come in, pea gravel, or just, whenever you go to Lowe's for any reason, pick up 2 or 3
they're so
bags
cheap
of
too.
gravel,
Yeah,
come
just
in and just slowly. And it will fall, like over here, Stuart. It'll just fall into the cracks and crevices of this. And if you do it across the expanse, it will look very homogeneous.
Would I need to remove the
No.
larger stones?
No, and not only that, you don't want to. Because they're doing their thing. Like, this is coverage and thicker coverage to prevent.
What's the best way to go about removing the tree well structure?
You start digging, and you just keep working on one section until you peel it up and break strength, and you get your Cheetos or your Cheerios. Cheetos? No, that's
Cheetos? I don't think that's what we're going
What is
for.
it? We used to
Cheerios, no, yeah,
say?
yeah.
Cheerios
And Wheaties.
and Wheaties.
Yeah. There you go.
I can try.
Or you can say, Taylor, just do it, because women can take care of stuff like that.
All right, that's fair.
So just take this out. This is mercury, obvious to us.
And it's a metal thing? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it's a metal thing.
Okay, I do have a question. So say we did like an arbor here and we wanted climbing rows or something to kind of start growing over it. Can you literally just dig a bowl and plant it in like this grass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no. And again, your grass doesn't creep.
Right.
So it's not like it's Bermuda grass that's going to continue to crawl in there.
That's awesome. I have Bermuda grass. It just always creeps into everything. I could not do garden for
And
nothing.
then you give it a defined space. Like
Okay.
pretty well. I can show you how to do it. We get, you decide, Jenny, come here, so like if you had a rose, what color roses would you guys want back here?
Red.
I like a red rose.
You like a red rose? Okay. So we would get probably a David Austin red rose or some kind of rose. Again, low maintenance.
Yeah.
So that is disease resistant. You really don't have to do much to it. And then you could decide, do I want something that's fragrant or not? And you're going to get more fragrance if you have a rose that doesn't repeat bloom. So anyhow, we can work, through that little bit of maintenance, but not a ton.
Right.
I mean, we planted, we'll show you in a minute, but we planted our own little rose bush over there, and it's done so good. So let's look at, this is a great vantage point right here. This is a charming aspect. This little building is adorable. This is their garage.
Yeah.
It's not a cafe.
It looks like and I like the fact that the rooftop is flat, which may not practically be a good thing, but aesthetically it's very fun. It looks very Southwest fun.
Yeah.
So Taylor, describe some of the things we discussed in terms of outdoor jewelry.
Yeah.
Planting options.
Yeah, so I think one of the things we want to accessorize with our garage is maybe some like shaded lanterns just like right above the door. And then, on either side of this window right above it, having another just hanging lantern. And then we can, put wreaths on the windows. I think that would be really, really cute.
Absolutely.
And I think it would be a good idea too. So we installed these little trellises, right? I had planted some clematis.
Yeah.
But to Linda's point, I think it would be really pretty to kind of stick with the climbing rose aesthetic and kind of plant some of those along the trellises too.
Would you want the fixtures to match that similar wrought iron of the
I
lights
think
up there?
I think so.
And I think that could be charming. Now, Taylor, you said something that was so dear that you have channeled your mother-in-law a little bit.
Yes.
What did you think would be so cute on that window?
Oh, the wreath. I do little Christmas wreaths. I love my wreaths. We have them on all the windows out front. I just love it. I think that would just add so much just cuteness to the house.
Uplighting.
Okay, talk about those. Yeah, tell me that.
So yeah, we really wanted some uplighting, but having an older home, electrical access is a little challenging. So we got these solar-powered uplighting deals from Amazon, and they can change colors. So in Christmas we'll do green lights, and Halloween we'll do red, and typically we just have them, just being the white lights that kind of really, showcase this beautiful tree that we have. So.
And do you know what?
Beautiful tree.
That I do not.
Okay, does it color in the fall?
It's very beautiful.
And
It's a rosebud.
It has.
No, it's not a red bud.
Oh.
It's not a red bud.
It has cherry. Like it has like.
Fruit on it?
Yeah, it's got.
Yeah, these are the guys right here.
Okay.
But it looks like a rosebud. It blooms like a rosebud with like the beautiful pink color.
And I wonder if it's no, probably not.
I don't think so.
They're really small berries.
They're really
okay.
small,
So
yeah.
this is a beautiful tree, and I'm going to show you in the spring or how to kind of thin it through and print it up a little bit. But this is beautiful.
The other thing is like we don't really like this metal tree
Trim.
thing that goes around it. So I mean, can we just like dig that out and just kind of keep the mulch around so it makes it
You just
less divided?
You just have a day where you remove that one, you remove this one, and I don't know how long that one, Jane. It might be more difficult because it's been in the ground for a while.
Yeah.
This one may not be so difficult, but I'm not sure where we stopped. But the kids wanted to remove this, and I was telling my story. I've said 1,000 times before. I knew of a little one who tripped on this and slit open her eye just above her eye opening. This is at least rounded. A lot of it is very sharp and rusted over. So if they don't have creeping grass, then there's not really any reason it needs to be there. Now, Jamie just pointed out something to me that is a little bit of house archaeology, and I think would be important to put it, as part of the history of your garden. Jamie, tell me what you just told me over here, which I did not know.
Yeah, there was another tree well located over here. So there's another one of those round rings that looks like the grass has grown over, which can be dangerous if people are mowing over that without knowing that it's there.
Linda, kind of outline it with
And
your
not
foot if
only
you can.
that, look at here. You can see where it is.
Yeah.
You can see the depression. So that also
yeah, okay, now I can
makes
see it.
a grade yeah, look. That also makes a grade change, which somebody could trip over. Now, Jamie said earlier, what did you say about trees back here?
Yeah, the only thing that I'd like to see more of in our yard, which we've got that great beautiful tree in our front yard, but I'd like a little bit more shade, kind of an oasis back here with some more trees. So that's something I'd like to integrate into the garden and see it grow as we live here over the years. So.
And Taylor who told me something about the previous owners?
Yeah, I think the previous owner had a vendetta against trees. So our neighbors actually told us that and cut down all our trees in the backyard, unfortunately. So hoping to remedy that.
This is exactly where I would have planted a tree. So she may have had a vendetta against trees, but the tree placement was brilliant. And sadly, she cut it down. And this is exactly where Jamie and I were talking about planting a tree in line with the line of the house. It would also give enough play area back in here if they wanted to have, God willing, someday, a kid play area or anything, enough grass to be able to do that.
Right.
But the important thing is it could be a deciduous tree that would grow up and eventually, because this is west, eventually would grow up and provide shade.
Right. Yeah, we get blasted on that deck.
And we don't want Goose in any way. Goose, we don't want you to get hurt by that.
She looks so unhappy.
She looks so unhappy, doesn't she? She is the most spoiled dog of all.
She said, "Let me go."
Let me go. So more shade for the deck, which you guys have already used quite a bit.
Yeah. So
we entertain a lot out here.
Yeah, and we love the shaded umbrellas. We actually got those at Costco.
They have lights on them.
Lights in
really
them,
cool.
Which is nice.
Actually, all our neighbors are like, "Where'd you get these? They're very fun."
So when I grill out here, it's nice to host, and we've got a lounge set up and little dining table. So
yeah, and it's a big deck. So another thing that we want to do is try to complement the deck with some more, pots and flowers and things like that.
And you guys, if there's any, talk about signature touches. If there's any signature lifestyle thing for you guys, it's you entertain a lot.
Yes.
And give them an orientation to the house through the door. So.
The French doors that lead into our dining room.
Yeah. So these are French doors. We'll have these opened up. It leads straight into our dining room. So just easy flow. Sometimes we'll keep food in there, have everyone sit outside. So yeah, it's we use this deck all the time.
Okay. And Jamie has started, he has a bunch of friends who grill. Jamie has started to grill, peer pressure. And did you get that for him for?
Yes, for Christmas last year, and all the grill accessories. He's been doing really well.
Okay. Taylor, show Stuart, if you would, where your raised bed is over there. And the question you asked me about
Oh, I see it now.
staining it, maybe,
Oh, yeah.
or
Yeah, so
Hey,
I
Minor.
did grow some vegetables.
You wrapping
and
up?
herbs last year, although it was my first year and they didn't do the best. So
Okay.
I think I'm just
Sounds
gonna
good.
stick with some easy herbs this year. But I think one thing, an idea that we had was maybe staining this to kind of match the deck a little bit. Maybe adding another one as well.
I like the little trellises.
Yeah, exactly. Little trellises. Nothing grew on them, but
and Taylor, show your new. Taylor is a very successful houseplant gardening mother, and she names all of her plants.
I do. We name all of our, especially our indoor plants. But I got this cute little thing at Target. But this is my little plant stand that I do all my, pre-planting on.
Fits perfectly
Things
in
like
there.
that. I know, right?
And it's a makeshift entertainment bar area
Yeah.
for when you entertain. So, what kind of as an extension of their thought process for the front, they want to have most of their color for ease of maintenance up here on the deck.
I would say up here and then in this garden area. And this actually blooms beautifully in the spring
Okay,
already.
So much color back
I've got
in
some
here.
photos I can show
Okay,
you.
Jamie, you do?
Yeah.
Okay, if you can find them for me, and we'll later when we post the video we'll show them here. So what colors is it are they? What color is in this garden bed? And what colors do you want to repeat up here? And did you show me pictures of your pots?
Yeah, so we've got some pots that thrived really well. They had some pinks in them, but primarily purples and yellows that grow out here. It's great, yeah.
Lavender in there. So
Kind of arid loving plants that don't need, even though, you have a sprinkler system?
we
Share
do
that.
all back in there too.
So if
wow.
you stand up here and you imagine roses growing over those trellises and a little lantern hanging over it. We thin out this tree a little bit to get more breeze through here.
Yep.
These are illuminated with their lights. And then we have, Taylor, what do you think? A large planter here with an evergreen,
I think that would be really pretty.
maybe. And
even in this corner too. 'Cause I feel like
yeah, this is a
just kind of a
Dead space.
dead space.
space,
So,
yeah.
okay, so then one here. And the option is, again, you can or cannot underplant it with lots of spilling color, but this way there would be evergreens even in the winter, I think.
Right.
Okay.
So, question though, like this is a big eyesore here, but it's a walkway. So what do
Okay.
you think? How
So,
could we kind of just cover this up?
Jamie,
a
come here.
little
Let me get your input on this. So, I typically always say we'll paint the boxes to match the facade of your. You know, I know you guys. That's more trouble than you
Yeah.
would want to go through. But if you never use this area, that would tell me you probably then hardly ever come over like this. Do
Right.
you? Okay. So, if it were me, again, I would get a big honkin' planter for here.
Can
And
we buy
I-
those in Oklahoma City?
A big honking planter is a horticultural term, and plant it right here, and then have a big evergreen in it,
Just
almost
kinda-
as big as I am,
Yeah.
that would grow fat and cover this up. You could have more color here.
I love
Then if
it.
you ever decided that you really use that for a space, like you might say, oh, do I want to move my grill down there or something? Then this is the garden theory of relativity. Every space is relative to every other one. Then you could come down here, put some huge pieces of flagstone in the turf
Yeah.
that then came over and opened and came to the gate,
That's
which then
cool.
went back through here.
it kinda just leads
yeah,
you
because this is
away from that.
yeah, because this is uncomfortable passage anyway.
Right. Leads to nowhere.
Yeah. So, and these are investment things. Once you buy these, you never have to buy them again. Hopefully, once you buy the evergreens, if you can keep them alive, that's not a repeat thing. The only repeat expense is just what you plant around the perimeter, and even some of that can be seed or
Yeah.
very inexpensive.
Jay, did you hear that investment pieces? He's our money saver and the frugal one of the family.
Okay, so
So I
yeah.
have to
Control the
convince
budget.
him
Investment
of good
pieces.
investments.
And they also know that their mom, being a garden lover, often gifts them that kind of
very,
stuff.
Very fortunate.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to
This,
talk about that. So let's.
okay, let's talk about this strange, though. I think this is kind of just an awkward thing. It makes me wonder why it was here originally.
Yeah.
So, if it were me, I would have something here. I would have a finial, I would have a pot, I would have maybe a wrought iron shepherd's hook that you hung, a wrought iron shepherd's hook that you hung a lantern with a solar light in it.
Okay.
That you know would be low maintenance. Come around here, okay, and then Taylor, you were starting to say.
Well, I do want to talk about this area because this is like our blank slate. I
Okay.
feel like there's
Okay.
just not a lot back there.
Okay, let's take a break, and when we come back, Jamie is going to talk to us about this area and what bugs him, and what you want to see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, Taylor and I have a thing. Who's going to drive the bus? Who's going to drive the bus?
Sometimes I get a little like overconfident and then I just start talking like I do
That is a
at
good
work.
thing.
And so
Because she's a CEO. That's what she does. Okay, but right now, truly, seriously for Mama, we want to pay respects to great neighbors.
yes.
The great neighbors are invaluable.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit, because they have Oklahoma
They do have
roots.
Oklahoma roots. So Dan and Dave next door, they are literally the best neighbors. We were so blessed. They also have the most beautiful tree, the fall tree, and we'll post a pic of how gorgeous.
Stuart, put a pic right here.
Yeah, Stuart put a pic right here of the neighbors, Dan and Dave's beautiful tree.
Indeed.
And they also are so nice. We still don't even own shovels, which we need to just go invest in some shovels, but they let us borrow all their different shovels and lawn equipment all the time. So.
And they're followers.
Yeah.
Okay, they're followers, and their mom. Wait, their mom is a follower?
Yeah,
or-
their mom's
okay.
a big, yeah.
So anyhow, shout out to
hello.
Dan and
yeah,
Dave.
to Dan and Dave and Mom. So, okay, so now talk to me a little bit about this space. This space really bothers Jamie for a number of different reasons. So first of all, Jamie, talk about why it bothers you.
I think that it's just large and kind of an overwhelming space. We're not quite sure what we want to do with it. This area here, there's still some beautiful, plants and things over here, but this kind of area, open area here, just gets a lot of weeds. Again, there was some sort of weed tarp under here at some sort of time that has failed. But it just, I feel like I'm in a constant battle with the weeds over here, and it just never looks that great. So we're hoping to kind of revamp this whole area and figure something else out. But we do love this large pine tree over here. We're hoping to put some lights on it or something next Christmas. So
It's hard to see from over there. You can
nice.
see it real well now.
Do you know what kind it is?
That I do not know.
Okay. What else bothers you about this space?
Just how this is lined.
Yeah, the way it's lined, it's
They
got
use that
some
everywhere,
brick
don't they?
that's overlaid up against this metal trim.
Kind of grass.
So, and the grass grows between the bricks. So my mom was actually showing me how we could pull these out, and it would make it a little bit easier to edge, so we can have some nice clean lines for the grassway.
Yeah, and the other, because if you have a border, it should have a reason, either an ornamental or a functional reason. And right now, this kind of has neither. I'm not sure why this metal edging is here. Again, this isn't creeping grass. The grass that is probably in the interior went to seed there, or there was scattered seed when it was overseeded that was in here. It didn't go through there by vining or tendrils or anything of that nature. So it's not really serving that much of a practical purpose, and they visually don't necessarily like it. And Jamie gets upset when some of these are uprooted like this, and
Yeah.
he blamed it on me, and I
When my
said,
It's not
mother comes to
symmetrical.
town and
when it's not,
uproots
yeah. Jamie does not like disruption in his garden or in his life. So, so anyhow, I think well, Taylor, you tell us, what have we decided to do?
Yeah, so I think we are gonna kind of uproot this, sorry Jamie, and just make it a very distinct line. I mean, the soil's good, so I feel like we could even do that like now,
Yeah.
right? Because the
And
soil
look
is
at-
so
yes.
moist.
Yeah.
And kind of get rid of this so that we can really just kind of start fresh back here.
And we talked about the bed line, that this is another
Yeah,
one of
so
these
this is-
instinctive things
Right,
that
so
Taylor
this
noticed.
this bed line kind of just goes back, and I don't know why. So I feel like we just need to make it more even with the fence here.
Jade, hold this for a second, honey. So the other thing is it's so hard to see the opposite of what you're already seeing.
Right.
So what we're seeing is this bed that goes here. Okay. The bed line here, since we want it to punctuate at that post, could go like this. It could go in,
Ooh, a little curve at the end.
and
little
then it
curve.
could come out
Okay,
there, which
okay.
would make it, I think, a little visually more interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
And it wouldn't just stop right there. But I think it looks odd to me, and this is just a visual thing. It just doesn't make sense that it ends here. Why does it end here? There's
Yeah.
no reason. There's no natural or artificial reason for it to end there. Whereas logically, your mind tells you it should end here.
Right.
So they can do that, and on a beautiful day, like today, when you're itching to get out in the garden, Jamie's probably having a stroke as I pull these up now.
He's like, don't touch it.
But look how beautiful that is.
Yeah.
That is, look at how much prettier that is. Then you can easily pull all this. Look at this.
Yeah.
See how easily that comes out now? Oh gosh, this makes me just feel so good. Oh, this is what I have needed in my life.
You need to get out here and put you to work.
I know, and you know you will. Okay, so then when you edge, you just edge along here.
Yeah.
There's no this doesn't creep. So you'll just edge along here. This won't be here, that won't be here. Then we will make all of this look homogeneous and beautiful. And we can plant more of what works.
Yeah, right.
Talk to me about this.
That's just, what would you call that? That's just
your-
our,
That's what we call in the business an eyesore.
So I should talk about it one more time. Sorry, I was pointing the other way.
Okay, yeah. What do you call that,
Oh, that,
Jamie?
okay, cool.
We call that an eyesore.
Okay.
So I think the previous person had that as a composting pile, which is great for the environment, but we're looking for something that's a little
Okay.
more
Okay.
visually
So
pleasing.
what do you do when you're hiding an eyesore?
Put a big old evergreen tree.
That's right. That's right. So honestly,
Nailed it.
that's exactly right. And I didn't even tell him to say that. You could plant a big old evergreen right here, trim this back a little bit, something where you could even pull the evergreen over to here,
yeah.
and then you could put in stepping stones or something
Yeah,
so
I
that
see,
you
like-
have access to this.
Right. I do want something with some type of stepping stones. I'd love to have a pretty stone bird bath back here.
And you have pretty good bird activity, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so this has great potential. Something that we did discuss was, okay, in the spirit of low maintenance, do you want to take all this out and just put sod in and expand your turf all the way back to here? And Taylor said, oh, no, 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 no. She wants, so that's one of her kitchen windows right there. So she wants an axis where she can look out here and she can see a bird bath. She can see goose playing outside.
Yes.
She can see all of those kinds of things, and there'll be some seasonal color color out here.
Exactly.
And then along this fence line over here, they might want to repeat. We could find out what kind of pine tree this is, and they might want to repeat in rhythm and repetition and equal expanse over, or equal measures over the expanse of this fence, this same kind of pine tree. So you've got, let's say we divide it up into thirds between where the new gate will be there and this will be here. And what if you put a pine tree or a columnar juniper here?
Okay.
Which is about a third of the way. There's one, that's 1/3. And then down here would be about 2/3.
Okay.
And then the third you don't see is back there. So you could put another pine tree right here.
And so would it just look okay just to have those trees, or do we need to like create beds in
No.
between them or anything?
On the contrary, that's where low maintenance comes in.
Okay.
So
We're a fan of low maintenance.
you're a fan of low maintenance. So you put, and they don't even have kids yet. So you put, a well around it or whatever, and you've got all of this ground cover here. I'm not sure what it is. It looks,
I think it's honeysuckle.
but
Is it?
it's growing along here. What we'll do is we'll tame this. We won't let it boss us.
Yeah.
We will tame it, make it look more tidy, but it softens the edge of this. You don't need, and not only that, you don't want it because you want it to be easy maintenance, and it would just have more brown in it that would look brown during the rest of the year. So, in summation,
Yeah, actually a question. So actually
Yeah.
all of this like ivy or whatever this is from the neighbors, but we like that it's kind of grown over here.
grown through.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah,
They did say,
maintain
they
it.
said be careful with it.
Well, no,
Because it's probably invasive and it's
Yeah.
overly aggressive. But
It's pretty.
again, you tame
beautiful.
it.
Yeah.
And so I'll show you how you just come in with long-handled pruners. See, this is it. We are out here in short sleeves, and look,
With
there's
the
still
snow.
snow on the ground. So you would come out in here in the spring with long-handled pruners,
Okay.
And okay, we're going to start making a list. Long-handled pruners, and we
actually
come
have
through.
those
You
do
do?
have those,
Where
yeah.
are they?
in the garage.
Okay.
I did what you're saying.
Okay.
last week.
Yeah, and then we just cut back the profile
A little bit, yeah.
to the ground.
Okay.
And that's something, Jamie, you would actually like to do. It would make you feel very in control. and I think it would be beautiful, and it would thicken up.
Yeah.
And it would be healthy.
Oh.
Okay, did you see that? You caught it. Not only did he threw it, but did you see how I responded?
Oh my gosh.
If you didn't know how alike Jamie and I are, then you do now. So that's what's going on here. And I think we've got a trajectory moving forward. I did not, if it were me, I would have started on the garden first and the inside later. But they are them. They do, you do you, I do me. And now this is starting to become more of a priority for you.
Absolutely.
Okay, so definitely I think that there are some changes that can be made. There are some things that can be done over on the other edge, but I think it's all very manageable. I think it can be done with a very manageable budget. It could be done all at once or over time. There will be some manpower involved. And so Jamie, get ready to start digging some holes. Get ready to start digging some holes.
You can do it.
Getting your own shovel?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Look here, I get no respect. I get no respect. But I think it's really fun. What do
I
you
know.
guys out there think? I hope you enjoyed this.
Yeah, we're really excited.
I
We're
think
really
they
excited.
have-
We feel so lucky to have the best
well,
mother-in-law ever
and
to
I have the
help
best
us.
daughter-in-law ever. And my son is the best son on some days. And
He's a little grumpy, but you know, that's okay.
that's okay. But this is just my kind of house. It is just
It's a
my
beautiful home,
It
yeah.
is just my kind of house, and it's in Colorado, one of the places
Yeah.
we all absolutely love, and nothing is too good for my dog Goose. So we're going to leave it there. You guys take care. I hope this gave you some ideas if you are starting your own landscape, modifying an existing landscape, or you just want a refresh. So thanks, guys. Take care, and we'll see you soon.